Today's collectible spot, we are having a look at the Kotobukiya ArtFX 1/10 scale pre-painted model kit of Avenger Marvel Now Thor. That is correct. This is a 1/10 scale pre-painted model kit. It is painted, so you don't have to actually paint it, but you will have to put it together. Spot hasn't done a lot of models, so I'm looking forward to getting this guy all put together. If he looks anything like what he does on the front there, I'm really excited to see the statue completed. This comes to us from the folks, once again, over at Kotobukiya and ArtFX. Before, of course, we get the model put together, let's look at the box itself. It's a good size box. I don't know if that's going to scale to the same size as what we're going to get with Thor. With Thor, it's going to be roughly about the same length of the box, but side of the box features Avengers logo. This is also a snap kit, so you don't need any glue or anything like that. And then on the back, some images actually from the statue, a little closer up images of Thor. Mjolnir in hand as well. Your read-up says, a Kotobukiya Japanese import Marvel Comics is the next great property to get Kotobukiya's ArtFX statue treatment. And so, of course, the first series is none other than the Avengers. Specifically, the characters as they appear in Marvel Now. In 2012, the comic book company relaunched several titles, shifting some characters into different books and updating some for modern audiences. More than anything, it provided a perfect jumping on point for new readers. Now the characters are brought to life as never before based on comic concept artwork by superstar artist Adi Granov, joining his previous released teammates the Hulk, Black Widow, Captain America, and Hawkeye is the Asgardian warrior Thor. In 1962, comic book mastermind Stan Lee set out to create a new superhero, one who was incredibly powerful. He found such a character in Norse mythology. The God of Thunder, a true champion of good, Thor has fought beside many other Marvel Comics superheroes throughout the years, including several incarnations of the Avengers. He has even starred in 2 feature films as well as an ensemble Avengers movie. In the Marvel Now, Thor continues to good fight in his own book, as well as with his fellow Avengers, are gathered in this ArtFX series as Earth's mightiest heroes. Always eager for glorious combat, the Asgardian is captured in a relaxed battle stance, turning sideways and holding out his hammer Mjolnir in front of him. Thor wears his distinctive Marvel Now costume that combines a black tabard with silvery armor, an ornate helmet, and sweeping red cape. Sculpted by the same master artist who did the rest of the Avengers series, Junosuke Abe, Thor stands nearly 8.5 inches tall in the ArtFX 1/10 scale, and is included magnetic display base, whether by himself or displayed alongside the other Avengers in the Marvel Now ArtFX collection. Thor is ready to lead the fight. That is a substantial read-up. I'm hoping also, too, by the fact that they've indicated that this is going to be a series, I hope we're going to get all of these, especially that Hulk. Now, granted, that's an artist rendering, but if it looks anything like that, I'm going to be very excited. Because really, the Thor matches the design of the statue as well. So, having said that, Spot's going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Avengers Marvel Now Thor. Don't go anywhere, guys. Stay tuned. When you get the Marvel Now statue out of packaging, you're treated to 7 pieces in total. 7 pieces technically, and of course the display stand. Pieces also too are really easy to put together. As you can see, everything is pegged and shaped in a certain way too. So for example, the lower torso, you can see kind of has a little notch taken out of one of the peg sections. And then here, there's a little notch taken out of the area where this is going to fit into place. So you know right away which way this is going to connect to one another. You also get a couple of pair of arms, of course. You get Thor's head, which I love the look of this Thor head. Sculpting the hair is quite nice too. You get yourself the end of Mjolnir, and of course the handle of Mjolnir. Again, like I said, assembly for it should be really easy and won't take any time at all. So the finished piece gives you something that looks like this, and I am extremely impressed with how this ended up turning out. He again stands at roughly about 8.5 inches in height and features an incredible sculpt on the suit. This suit is a modern take for the Thor suit, really, and for that matter was the inspiration for what we would see eventually with Thor movies, as well as what he wore in the Avengers. The tunic, I suppose this would be a tunic, is dark gray in color. Almost has almost a purpley gray coloring in it. Almost like I guess the coloring of maybe like a pewter. And then he has the silver armored accents on the sleeves as well as in the legs. The sculpting on the boots as well as the lower tunic really done exceptionally well. I suppose, again, because it is a more modern take on Thor, the colors are a little more muted than the colors that he would have eventually have had, you know, in the beginnings of the comics, where he had a more bright, vibrant color. But it shows extremely well. I love the sculpt on the cape, too. I think the cape is probably one of my favorite aspects to this suit he's wearing. All the little folds and areas of the cape have also been painted. So like areas such where the folds have gone down, they put a dark color in the cape, and it's really brought those details out. As for his face, I really like the face. I also especially like that he's wearing his Asgardian helmet. It's a real break from what we've gotten with the Thor movies. A lot of the Thor movies, most of the time he's not really even wearing a helmet. I think he wears his helmet once in all the appearances of Thor. So it's nice to see a Thor with a helmet. The paint is a little bit darker than what we got with the sleeves. The sleeves, I think, are a little more lighter in silver than in the helmet. The helmet doesn't look battle damaged or anything like that, but it does have a more metallic look, I think, than the sleeves. It looks like something that would have been forged from metal. I like his face, too. His face has a real strength to it. He's not screaming, he's got a partially opened mouth, but he seems like he has a very confident look on his face as he's holding his Mjolnir. The hammer, essentially, you could remove. This top of the hammer just unpegs and this hammer could slide out. But really, the way that he's sculpted, the way he's posed, it would make no sense to have the hammer removed, because then it would just look like he's sticking his fist out. But I really do like this piece quite a bit. And also something to mention too is that the undersides of his boots have magnets. So with the base being a metal stand, to put him on the display stand, he stands very easily. He's not going to topple over or anything like that. I like that. I wish actually more statues that had removable display stands. Some of them are pegged. I kind of prefer magnets personally, because when you remove a statue like this, you don't have the very obvious pegs sticking out either from the boots or sticking out from the display stand. Magnets really are a safe and smart way to go. But you can really see the commanding presence of this statue. I'm not really sure how Spot's going to end up displaying him. I almost feel like I want to display him facing forward, but really, for how commanding that stance is, I almost really want to have him kind of like this, kind of just posed to the side with his hammer in hand. He's also not very heavy either. It's not a considerably heavy piece. I feel like more of the weight is distributed onto his cape. I feel like his cape is a heavier piece than really the rest of the body. It's distributed well though, and also the stance helps him to distribute that weight. Even, funny enough, if you take him off the display stand, he stands extremely easy. I don't have anything where he's going to be toppling over. So even though he's got a lot of weight in his cape, he's not back heavy, surprisingly enough. For not really being a big Thor guy, truth be told, I've not really been ever a big Thor guy. It wasn't really until I started watching Thor in the live action movies and him in Avengers that I really started getting interested in the character. But prior to that, not super interested. I would say though, if I had not been a big fan of Thor before and I had picked up this statue I think really would have gotten me interested in the character. Also, smart, I think, by having Kotobukiya approach this as Marvel Now's Thor versus like the original Thor costume. This is the kind of costume that a lot of people will look at and kind of instantly recognize as Thor from the movies. So I think that was a smart way to go. The sculpt is very nice. The pose I like especially as well. And it's going to be interesting to see how Kotobukiya approaches more of the Marvel Now statues. If they're scaled the way that they look on the back of the package, the back of the box, it's going to be interesting to see how much bigger Hulk is going to be versus Thor. Thor is 8.5 inches tall. If Hulk is as big as he looks on the back of the box, we're going to be getting ourselves a very large statue. I ended up picking this guy up from the folks over at alteregocomics.com, and he is still currently there if you guys want to pick him up for yourself. But I would say, though, if you're a big fan of Avengers, if you're a big fan, or even like myself, if you weren't really a big fan of Thor and truthfully want to admit to yourself that you didn't get into Thor really until like the live action movies, like this guy over here, this is a great statue to have on display. He's not super big, 8.5 inches tall. He's a good scale to be putting on your shelf along with your other collectibles, but I would definitely say pick this guy up if you can. Today's collectible spot, we were having a look at the Kotobukiya ArtFX Marvel Now Avengers Thor pre-painted statue. And actually putting them together was super easy. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more collectible spots heading your way. Thanks for watching, as you always do. I'll see you next time.